Happy Monday afternoon. Today I want to address Senate Bill 5078 case. So this one, if you're a gun lover, key your ears up here. A couple of really important things. What I want to show you is I'm going to start with our pleading that was filed today. As you see, October 3rd, 2022, that's today. We actually filed our motion requesting an injunction or declaratory relief. What that means is over the next 5 weeks, we in the state and the interveners that we discussed last week are going to be kicking back and forth motions. Of course, ours relies heavily on the new standards set forth in New York Pistol and Rifle Association versus Bruin. If you're unaware of that case, it's the Supreme Court case that really brought back the analysis of Second Amendment questions of whether or not the state's law comports with the history of gun regulations that is concurrent with or falls under the United States Constitution or the Constitution of the state. In other words, it's not this analysis of was it appropriate, and then if so, what level of scrutiny does it get? It's simply, does this law comport with the United States Constitution? It's a beautiful test because it really brings us back to the question of whether or not it's constitutional, and that should always be the fundamental question. The driving question of any litigation. Is this constitutional? And in this case, again, in New York versus Bruin, the Supreme Court overruled the New York case and sent it back and said it doesn't comport with the United States Constitution. That's what we're challenging 5078, and it's, now that it's enacted, the sections of Revised Code of Washington 9.41 that limit your ability to, well, not really your ability to purchase, but the sales of high capacity magazines, which we know is greater than 10 rounds. So we're challenging that. We filed our motion. I don't need to scroll through the motion. You see it captioned here. It's available. We'll hopefully get it out on our website or on our Facebook here pretty soon. It takes us a process to convert it to where we can share it. So you'll have that access to that soon. Equally important, literally right after we filed, we saw this. That one's not particularly important. This is the United States Supreme Court's syllabus. That means what the Supreme Court is doing with each case. You see Action 21-1160. It's Moran or Moran. I don't know how you say the guy's from Massachusetts. Probably way messed up. Versus Liver. That case was a doctor who is convicted of a misdemeanor, and then under the Massachusetts law, he could no longer purchase a gun. There was a flat-out bar. If you're convicted of any misdemeanor, not a violent, just any misdemeanor or higher, you are prohibited from purchasing guns. And the United States Supreme Court today, shortly after we filed our case, actually kicked that case back. It sent a motion to remand, meaning sending it back down to the Court of Appeals saying, and I want to say this, the case is remanded to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit for further consideration in light of New York Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. Again, to me, this is really the Supreme Court signaling, look, we made a decision a couple months ago. We're sticking by it, and everything all the way from the 1st to the 10th to the DC Circuit to the 11th, and obviously important for us, the 9th Circuit, anything that's gun related, we're going to push back to the Court of Appeals to reanalyze. And I want to say that, reanalyze under the Bruin test, instead of the two-prong test that we used to use, or the Supreme Court and Courts of Appeals used to use. So again, to me, this is a great tipping in the hand. The Supreme Court sticking to its decision that we're going to see a lot of these cases overturned because they're not going to fall within the gambit of the Bruin analysis. It's a very simple, like I said, question. Does this comport with the United States Constitution and the way we've interpreted it? We don't believe that Senate Bill 5078 and then its ensuing regulations do so. And so with that, over the next 5 weeks, we'll be sharing briefings, ours, the states. We showed you who the interveners are, and then eventually on November 23rd, we're going to have the hearing. So stay tuned. I think today was an exciting day, not just because we filed, but also because there's great news coming out of the Supreme Court. God bless. Keep supporting us. Follow us, smfjb.org. Please, please, please share our videos, share our posts. That's how we grow our audience. That's how we grow our support. And, you know, obviously we need that support as a nonprofit organization. And as you all know, we're specifically not taking grants from the government because we want to keep suing the government for its overreach. So we'll keep protecting your rights. Please keep supporting us. Thank you. Have a great day.